Hi, I'm Pastor Randall Neal, and today is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. And I want to talk to you today about fog. Now, I've shared with you many times how much I enjoy and appreciate our four-season porch at my home. And I can sit in comfortable chairs and gaze out the large windows which overlook the park behind my house. And I enjoy looking at the trees and listening to the birds and squirrels chirping and chattering. It's lovely to see the sun coming up over the horizon each morning through the barren tree branches this time of year. It sparkles. It's actually quite spectacular to observe. It always brings a warm spot to my very being to see the beauty of God's creation right in front of me. My coffee even tastes better on those days, so it seems. Makes for a great beginning of my day. Well, it was just a few days ago, however, when all that beauty was totally obscured. A thick fog had settled in and blocked out all the trees and birds and squirrels, and normally that golden red hue of color as the sun comes up over the horizon and its rays penetrate the branches of the trees. I didn't appreciate that. Didn't appreciate the fog that day, or any of the foggy mornings that occur from time to time. The world sure looks different on foggy mornings. Now, on those foggy mornings, it looks as if the world's going to be gray all day, doesn't it? It's kind of depressing, you know. That's no way to start the day. But I've also learned, and I'm sure you know as well, it doesn't usually last past 9 or 10 in the morning. Why? Well, the fogs developed overnight when there was no sun out to warm the air and evaporate all that moisture. Sometimes when the fog gets thick, well, let's face it, we just lose sight of the sun. It's not that it's not there, we just don't see it. Well, that brings me to what I want to talk about this morning, and it's a section from Colossians chapter 3. And it talks about three facets of Jesus that I think his followers should be known for. And they're all mentioned in this chapter from St. Paul, chapter 3 of Colossians, verses 15 through 17. Let me read it to you. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, and as you sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Did you catch that operative word throughout that section? Thanks, isn't it? Notice how he talks about the fact that you and I should be known by the peace of Christ in our relationships with one another, by the word of Christ in our attempts to care about people, to minister to people, by the name of Christ in everything that we do. So we'll be characterized by Jesus' peace, Jesus' words, and Jesus' uniform, so to speak. It's that peace that especially appeals to me, the peace of Christ, because I don't think it's any big secret. We're living in a world that isn't quite as peaceful as we'd like it to be, whether it be because of COVID, because of politics, because of stress within family settings, because of the season of the year. But I'd like for that peace to be real for all of us. Well, did you notice in that section I read from Colossians that each involved the same ingredient? They all involve these two little words, thank you. Not just on Thanksgiving either. With the peace of Christ, the word of Christ, the name of Christ, there's a thank you emphasis. I wonder, I'm just speculating, but if we were to play back recordings of you and me in recent weeks, would they sound a lot more negative? Maybe there's a pessimistic tone there, a tone of criticism or complaining, negativity. Hey, the fog's rolling in and everything is looking gray to you. Okay. Now, I can describe that because not proud, but I felt it. Well, maybe the fog is winning right now for you. Well, what that means, my friends, is what you need, of course, is the sun. The sun that burns off the fog of pessimism and negativism. It's called, ready? Giving thanks. There was that theme in that text. That means you make a difference, a decision to focus today on what is rather than what isn't. what you have rather than what you don't have, to focus on what God has been doing in your life, to concentrate on answered prayer rather than the not yet answered prayer, to go through your day on a God hunt, looking for where he is, where he's working in your life. And if you look for him, my friends, you'll see him all over the place. Now, Paul and Silas could sing at midnight in the prison because they were praising and giving thanks. Well, my friends, you can sing at midnight as well. You can give thanks even in the fog. When I stop living gratefully, a dark gray attitude starts to blanket my soul. The spiritual blahs, but the fog doesn't ever have to last long. A thank you mindset is the sun that burns off your personal fog. Thanks for listening. Looking forward to our next time together.